Hello everyone. In this video, I will mainly talk about Tesla Q3 delivery and production numbers. Q3 was another record-breaking quarter for Tesla. They delivered about 344,000 vehicles globally, but they have missed analysts' expectations of about 358,000 vehicles. This is about a 14,000 miss, but I will tell you why is this not important. But first, let us take a look at the long-term deliveries of Tesla. The previous record was in the first quarter this year with about 310,000 delivered vehicles. Q3 deliveries are about 15% higher than this. In Q2, there has been shutdowns in Shanghai, so they only delivered about 255,000 vehicles then. Q3 deliveries are 35% higher than this. And compared to last year's Q3 deliveries, when Tesla sold about 241,000 vehicles, the increase is about 42%. However, the situation is even better than what it seems at first sight, because the number of produced vehicles is 22,000 more than the deliveries. It is about 366,000, which is actually 8,000 more than the analysts' 358,000 delivery expectation. And this is what really matters for Tesla. As Elon said many times, Tesla is production constrained. Tesla has really good profit margins, so they can easily decrease prices if they need more deliveries. In the third quarter last year, so in 2021, Tesla has produced around 238,000 vehicles. This year's Q3 production is about 54% higher. Just for a quick comparison, in August 2022, global plug-in market grew 60% compared to the same month last year. Global BEV market for the same period grew even faster by 66%. If we take a look at the global plug-in sales for the first 8 months of the year, it grew 62% year over year. So Tesla's year-over-year production growth in Q3 seems to be smaller than the global market growth. However, this is not a big difference and not an apple-to-apple comparison, because at the moment we do not have data about the global Q3 BEV market. Now let us go back to this 22,000 gap between production and deliveries. This is quite unusual for Tesla. They usually try to deliver as much vehicles at the end of the quarter as possible to show good delivery and financial numbers for the quarterly reports. I have created this spreadsheet collecting Tesla's quarterly production and the delivery data since 2019. The link for this spreadsheet will be in the description field. In the green column, you can see the difference between production and deliveries for each quarter. As you can see, so far the biggest difference was around 14,000 vehicles in Q1 2019 and in Q1 2020. In Q1 2019, they were ramping up European and Chinese export for Model 3s, and they had logistical problems, so they couldn't deliver as much as they have produced. And in Q1 2020, we all know that Roniron happened, so there has been logistical problems as well. But apart from these two examples, usually we only have a couple of thousands difference between production and deliveries. We can see that the 22,000 difference is quite atypical for Tesla. So why did this happen? This is what Tesla says about the gap in their press release. Quote, "Historically, our delivery volumes have skewed towards the end of each quarter due to regional batch building of cars. As our production volumes continue to grow, it is becoming increasingly challenging to secure vehicle transportation capacity and at a reasonable cost during these peak logistics weeks. In Q3, we began transitioning to a more even regional mix of vehicle builds each week, which led to an increase in cars in transit at the end of the quarter. These cars have been ordered and will be delivered to customers upon arrival at their destination." End quote. The way I understand the situation is that so far, for example, the Shanghai plant at the beginning of the quarter built vehicles for Europe, and at the end of the quarter they have switched to build cars for China. This way, they had to deliver a lot of cars for China in the very end of the quarter quickly. Personally, I think that this system is only good for showing some nice numbers at the end of the quarter. For customers and for Tesla's operations, it would be better to have a steady stream of deliveries to each continent. I believe Tesla already has enough scale for this to be as cheap to transport this way as it is in big batches. And now, based on what I just read from Tesla's press release, it seems that it would be even cheaper this way. It seems that they have started to transition to more even deliveries. Elon also said several times that they want to do this. However, I do not think that they will do this in the fourth quarter. They very likely still want a great delivery number for the year and for the quarter. Couple of 10,000 vehicles in transport or in inventory can also affect negatively the earnings. I hope, however, that they will do this transition in Q1 2023. We also have to take into account that in July and August there has been a shutdown in Shanghai because they were upgrading the factory in order to increase capacity. The exact amount of how much the capacity has increased is a little bit confusing to me. The daily, weekly and yearly capacity numbers I have seen do not match completely. However, we can say that the capacity increase is about 31% and the production capacity is now about 1.2 million vehicles per year. This is an amazing number for one factory. For Q4, such shutdowns are not scheduled at the moment. Global Equities research analyst Trip Chaudhry suggests that Q4 deliveries can be above 500,000 vehicles. Personally, I think that the Berlin estimate is too optimistic here, since there are certain weeks in the quarter that would be about 4,600 cars per week on average in Q4. Tesla tweeted on October 1st that the Model Y production rate reached 2,000 vehicles per week in Berlin. And Tesla's Senior Vice President of Powertrain and Energy Engineering, Drew Baglino, stated during the Q2 2022 earnings call that the German factory could achieve an output of 5,000 Model Y per week by the end of the year. So if we assume that they will achieve this only by the last weeks of the year, then the total quarterly production number will not be 60,000 for the Berlin factory. Something similar might be true for Austin. So far, these two factories ramped up quite similarly. Anyway, time will tell, but I think that it is reasonable to expect that Q4 production numbers will be between 450,000 and 500,000 vehicles, which would be a great result again. One more interesting data from Q3 is that Model S and Model X production reached its highest levels in the last 4 years. This is the same spreadsheet that I have shown you before. I have highlighted the S and X production here with light yellow. As you can see, in Q1 2021, Tesla stopped S and X production to restart it with the refreshed models. The ramp-up was relatively slow, however each quarter they have increased S and X production further. And now they have reached almost 20,000 vehicles in the last quarter. As you can see, since 2019, S and X production has never been so big. In terms of deliveries, which is in the second column, the last quarter was not a record, however it was close to it. Since 2019, the biggest S and X deliveries happened in Q4 2019, but it was only about 800 more than in the last quarter. I wonder how much further can they ramp up S and X production. According to their 2022 Q2 earnings report, they have 25,000 vehicles per quarter S and X production capacity. So theoretically there is still room for improvement. These are great news for Tesla, since S and X models have very huge profit margins now. As a summary, we can say that Tesla did have another record-breaking quarter in Q3. They have missed delivery expectations, but only because they could not deliver what they have produced. Production grew 54% year over year, despite there has been shutdowns in Shanghai. Assuming that such shutdowns will not happen in Q4, and the ramp-up will continue further in Berlin and Austin, it is very likely that Tesla will have an exceptional quarter in Q4. Okay everyone, we have arrived to the end of our video. If this video was enjoyable and or useful to you, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.